Hi, good afternoon everybody. A little bit early today, but I thought I'm sat here, so why not? And you're all there anyway. Hello to Wendy, Sharon, June. Hi Joe, Rebecca, Christine and Shelley. Brenda in Kentucky, hello to you too. Joy, Zakaya, hello, I'm fine, thank you, darling too. Hello June, Anne, Margaret, Leslie, sorry if I miss anybody. I'm very good today, thank you. Hi Rita, finally got a sunny day in upstate New York. Fabulous. It's a bit, it's all right. It's not raining yet. It's one of those kind of days here. Hello on Facebook to Jean and Linda, Sheila. Hello to Jan, to you too. Hello Sue, hello Elaine and Anne and Geraldine and Sarah, and thank you for my notebook. I'm going to keep it down here so I don't forget things, and the pen as well. Thank you very much. That was very sweet of you. I'm very well, thank you, Eilish. Elizabeth, hello to you too. Deborah, Francis, Jade and Pamela and Anne, hello. Slightly warmer in Frome today. Geraldine, I said Geraldine. Sally Ann, hello to you too. Ellen, Denise, oh we could do this for an hour, couldn't we? Sunny and cold in Massachusetts, says Diane. Hi Vanessa, Tracy, Clairon and Patricia. Not trying a felt flower again, is Anne. Happy Wednesday. That's a good name for a Wednesday. I'm frozen on Facebook. I don't know what's going on there. Not the prettiest of face to have frozen, I must say. I'm okay on YouTube, aren't I? Hello Helen. Chilean Dorset, says Denise. Blodwin says, just been watching the mouse video, can't wait to make PJ. Oh, what are you going to make him out of? What fabric have you chosen? I'm still frozen there. That's a silly thing to do. Hello Linda. Hello Helen. We'll having to leave in a few. It's always there, Linda. You can replay it back at any time you like, both on Facebook and on YouTube as well. I never take them down. It's the one on my Facebook. Afternoon Susan. I don't know which one. I love the cushions behind. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something new in just a moment. They're all right, aren't they? I'm rather pleased with those. Hello, Annick in France. Hi, Alan. Joyce, June. Hello, Olivan. Right, so I've got some new fabrics to show you. I'm not showing you them yet. I'm going to leave those to last. Have you got your sunglasses ready? Look at these neon beauties. These are gorgeous. If you're thinking holidays, beach bags, I'm thinking with these. Look how bright and colourful and amazing these are. It's a nice sturdy cotton. So if you are making bags, it'll soften if you wash it, but if you are making bags, then this is perfect. They're great, aren't they, Megan? But really unusual, very, very different to anything that we've done before. And just loads and loads of fun. You know, even if you don't use the whole thing, then just small pieces of it with plain fabric around it would look amazing. But they're bright and they're bold and they're neon and they're loud and they're whoa. I said to Kim, she says, "Oh, did you see the fabrics I ordered?" I said, "Yes." When I opened the packaging, the first thing I said was, "Whoa!" But they're really fun. There's two of them. So this is the second one. Can't remember what they're called, but if you go under new arrivals on the website, you'll see them there. So a little bit tamer, this one. But it's got surfboards all over it, look, and sunshine, and puts you in the mood for holidays. Megan, I used pink canvas for that one. Janet's shading her eyes. I know, they're fabulous. Watch the video for the quag session, very pleased. Oh, thank you very much. Glad you found it useful. Hello Vicky in Tennessee. The black background's great, isn't it? Really makes it stand out. And I'm thinking maybe even just using a section like the surfboards across a beach bag with black behind it would look really good, wouldn't it? In fact, black would go really well. Both of them really make them stand out. Hi Ruby Coco. Come on then, Ruby Coco. Biscuits. Hello, Gail in Newfoundland. Hums Cube, hello to you. Now these aren't new, but we've had quite a few questions about matching fabrics for the new Lewis and Irene collection that I showed you the other day. So we've put together what we have from the Bumbleberries. The Bumbleberries is a blender range of fabric that Lewis and Irene bring out time and time again, and they tend to match all of their new collections that come out. So you know, if you buy a Bumbleberry, if you buy a Bumbleberry, you know it's going to match the colours. So those are the colours of the Lewis and Irene fabrics, and these are the colours that we have. The green is too bold. That's the chocolate, doesn't pick up on anything. Can't remember that one, what that one's called, but that matches some of these perfectly. And then I think that one's lilac. But if you look under Bumbleberries on the website, it'll bring up these matching fabrics, and they're Lewis and Irene. It's that beautiful quality again. I like, if you've gone for that one, I'd go for that. Or maybe the lilac if you wanted it. No, I'd go for that. I'd go for that one. And then maybe those two. And if you're going for the whole collection, then you'll use them all anyway. A lot of you have been doing that. Or even in there, you could slip that one in between there. So hopefully we'll be getting some more of the different colours, but those are the ones, those are the two that we have at the moment that match best with these. So I'm hoping to all of those that were asking for matching fabrics that you're watching now or watching back later. Linda's got lunatic dogs now. Biscuits, walkies. Alexa, take my dog for a walk. I must stop doing that. I do think it's funny though. I don't think you'll go back to sleep. Oh, talking to somebody else. Christine's going to catch up later. She's at work. Remind me of the... Oh, thank you, Laura. DebbieShawSewing.com. Eider Downs. Deirdre. Not a fan of eider downs once I was old enough to realise not just where the feathers came from but how they're plucked. So I do know what an eider down is, and I don't think they should be made anymore. But yeah, we used to sleep under eider downs. You'd have your bottom sheet, which didn't have elasticated corners. We used to do hospital corners. We used to have to make our beds every morning when we got up, and then a sheet, and then a blanket, and then in the winter you'd have your eider down on top as well. Is that Chris's Alexa? Sorry Chris, sorry Cheryl. Hi Engendrews. Are you ready for what I've got new for you? Well, these, I did say to you the other day I'm going to be on Create and Craft on Saturday at 7:00 p.m. and on Janet's Alexa said she can't take the dog for a walk, did she? I don't have an Alexa, I don't know how it works. Over Christmas, went to visit my sister and her grandchildren were there. And my great nephew made Alexa make some very rude noises. I didn't even know she could do that. Sue's Alexa says she couldn't walk the dog. I love a hospital corner, says we had to have a hospital corner. So on Saturday at 7:00 at night, and on Sunday morning at 9:00 in the morning UK time, we're going to be launching some bags. I shall show you those on Saturday morning, and some fabric panels. I have to say, Create and Craft have a really good deal. But we've got the panels on their own on pre-order. So this is the chrysanthemum panel that the cushions behind me are made out of, and they're all based on original 1800 botanical sketches. Aren't they fabulous? This is my daughter's work. She's a very talented young lady. So if you order from us, we're sending the orders out as from next Wednesday. Once these have gone, this particular one, I'm pretty sure we can't get any more. It's a different printers than we normally use. We've ordered an awful lot, we've got hundreds, but they're quite expensive. So we've taken a hit on that for you, but the colours are just so vibrant. So on Create and Craft, I think it'll be, I can't remember how much they're doing it for. About £20. You'll have the panel, and you'll have a metre of fabric, and you'll have instructions to make 2 different styles of cushion covers. If you wanted to pre-order from us, that's DebbieShawSewing.com, you just get the panel. We will be doing the instructions as a download next week as well. So again, they're going to be going out next week. Aren't they gorgeous? They're just so bold and vibrant, and although Kim designed these with cushions in mind, of course you can make bags out of them. You could just put some red fabric in between there as sashing and make it into a beautiful quilt, just as it is here. They are gorgeous, aren't they, Amanda? They are absolutely beautiful. Candlewick bedspread, Susan, I know. But it's a cotton poplin. It's got a lovely handle to it. It's really smooth. It's really soft. All digitally printed and just fantastic designs. So again, we've only got a certain amount that we can put on the website at the moment, and I don't think we're going to be getting any more of these because it's an expensive one, purely so that we can get the bright colours red. I don't know, Jade, if you have a look on the website, maybe Kim's put the details on there. I don't know what the book was. So I didn't put those together. Should have paid more attention, really, shouldn't I? So those are on the website now under pre-order, and again, they'll hopefully be going out as from the 8th. If we can get them out any sooner, then we will do. This one. I think you're going to love. I can't show you the samples that we've made from this at the moment because they are being photographed. But we've made 4 cushions. There are bunting panels, and then with the squares at the bottom we made coasters and placemats. The instructions that you're going to get if you buy from Create and Craft, you'll have the huge panel and instructions for the cushion, 2 sizes of cushion, instructions to make the bunting and instructions to make the placemats. But if you wanted to make bags, if you wanted to use this for home decor, it's 150 centimetres wide or 60 inches, so it's a huge panel, but it's so incredibly detailed. I know, it is lovely, isn't it? So I wouldn't go by, I don't know if they've got them on Create and Craft at the moment. They haven't got photos yet, so I doubt it. But they have this habit of dropping prices just before shows, so I wouldn't take too much notice of what they're going to charge if they do put it on early. Normally with my shows, it sounds like I'm boasting, we tend to sell out of everything. So they've stopped putting them on until about 5 minutes before the actual show goes live. Because otherwise everything sells out. We haven't got a show. That has happened before. So Saturday night at 7 p.m. our time, they'll probably go live about 5 or 10 to the hour. So just to let you know. And again, in the Create and Craft one, you've got a whole metre of blush pink fabric. You'll have 3 metres of piping. No, you don't. The piping comes with that one. With this one, you get the metre of fabric and the instructions. That's it, because then you can make anything you like with it. You don't get the zips or anything in this one. So with the... Oh, I'll remember this better on Saturday. I'll write it down in my booklet, Sarah. With the chrysanthemums on Create and Craft, you'll have the panel, a metre of fabric, 3 metres of red piping, and 4 zips. With this one is the panel and a metre of blush fabric and the instructions for 4 projects on there as well. But isn't it just beautiful? So there's Alice and the White Rabbit and the Cheshire Cat, and I can't remember what he's called. And over here is the bunting. And don't think bunting just for, you know, stringing across the room. This could be bunting around the top of a drawstring bag. This could be around the top of a basket or a box, you know, storage boxes and things like that. It doesn't just happen to be for bunting to hang around. And then these smaller squares, well, you could use them as they are and make 3 little bags out of them if you use plain fabric on the back. We've cut them out individually and put sashing in between them, so I can't show you the actual things that we've made because they're in photography at the moment. You could use them as a piece of patchwork on the front of a card, maybe. Is it coffee time?
Could you use them as a coffee mug?
A coffee.
With the right shape?
Not on the fabric.
Your sound sounds a bit strange.
Does it?
Yes. Is it coming from... It sounds like it's coming from here.
It shouldn't be. Does my sound strange at home? I haven't done anything different. Oh. Thank you.
It sounds a bit echoey.
Sound echoey?
You're getting the level on it, aren't you?
Yes. Shall I turn it down a bit? Would that help, do you think? Joyce says it's okay, Megan says it's fine, Zoe says it's fine. Are you sure it's not your ears?
It's my ears. Yeah.
It might be a new PC.
Yes. and check out my ears.
You can clean out your ears. Everyone says the sound's okay.
Right,
Denise,
okay.
Pamela, Cheryl, and Joan. And Yvonne says it's a bit odd.
I'm with you, Odd. I mean, young.
Yeah, Lois says it's your ears.
Yes, I think it is.
Hello, Janet. It's ever so picky, isn't it? Ever so picky. What was I on about? Anyway, oh yeah, these ones. So I was thinking as well, you could cut them out and then maybe fray the edges a little bit and then just use that as a piece of applique on the front of front of a card, maybe. I think would look very nice. So, colour-wise, by the way, we haven't got it on the website at the moment, but we have found a perfect colour blush pink that goes with this. That's the one that you're going to get with the Create and Craft bundle. We'll try and get that on the website as soon as we get enough of it in stock, because it's all gone into kits for these at the moment. But isn't that fabulous? I love it. Who wouldn't love Alice in Wonderland? Linda's just got in the car and picked me up so she can listen and not watch. Can we sell mates from the Alice Planet? Yes, you can, Chris. This is one that Kim's designed, so yes, you can absolutely sell what you make. I think you should charge a lot of money for it, whatever it is that you're making. Low quality of playback picked. Thank you. When it's on Create and Craft. Denise, on Saturday night at 7 o'clock and Sunday morning, if there's any left, at 9 o'clock. With this one, to be honest, ours will be going out hopefully next Wednesday, before if we can. With this one we can get more printed within a couple of weeks or so, and it's not like the other one that takes a long time and is particularly expensive. So this one we can get it a little bit quicker, so if we do run out we will be getting some more in. So that's that. A reading cushion would be beautiful, wouldn't it, Denise? That's such a nice idea. Oh. Right, have we got closed captions on, by the way? I have checked and I have double checked and I've switched them on and the settings are right. So I'm hoping we've got it, Rita, let me know. We're going to do some English paper piecing today. And yeah, reading cushion would be really nice. Slightly echoing, maybe my volume's just a little bit too, I thought I'd just turn that down a bit. I'll turn me down a little bit, so maybe that will help a bit. My levels aren't quite so high now, you might have to turn me up a bit. If it falls out a bit, I don't know who, that's probably not for me, is it? Subtitles are on. Oh yes, we got it. I don't know, Rita, I don't know what I did. I don't know, because all the settings were there, but there you go. But it's on, thank you very much. Lois loves a little bit of EPP. Right. My favourite, I think we've done this before, I'm sure we've done EPP before with tumbling blocks, which I was going to show you a sample of, and I forgot, and I don't know where it is. What's that? Our book. Had the sample no it's not, somewhere from the cushion that we did in our Refashion, Restitch, Restyle book, which I think is down in the house. We used EPP for that one, and old shirts, which worked really well. I'm too quiet now. I'll turn it up a little bit then. So I'm not, I'm on my equal there. Whoa, that was a little bit too much. How's that then? Happy medium. Will the panel have a zip already in that you sew? Would they go with the panel that has a zip already in that you sew? I just used white zips for that one. In fact, I used white zips for both of them. And Alice was invisible zips, white invisible zips. We could get some of those on the website actually. Oh, sounds good now. Good, thank you. Okay, we haven't got any EPP shapes on the website at the moment, but this is one of my favourite ones, so this is what we're going to do. And the reason being, these are 60-degree diamonds. They are incredibly versatile because you can make stars out of them, or you can just make tumbling blocks out of them, which is my favourite design. I love the effect that this gives you when you join them together. And if you're clever with your designs, like so, you can see the star in the middle as well as the 3 tumbling blocks. If you're doing tumbling blocks, it's advisable to have 1 dark, 1 medium and 1 light colour. EPP, Denise, is English paper piecing, which is basically wrapping fabric around paper pieces like these and then hand sewing them together. We'll hand sew a few and then I'll machine sew some as well, because you can cheat if you don't look too closely. So Christine, do Create and Craft don't deliver to Australia? Do they not? I don't know why. Now we've been using Every because Royal Mail still aren't taking international post. I had a very funny phone call from our post office today. He assumed I knew who he was, and I hadn't saved his number in my phone. So yes, I had a very strange phone call from him. I'd actually said after the first minute or so, I don't know what on earth you're talking about. And he went, oh, it's the post office. Right. But I asked her, are you still sending international? And they're not. So there are parcels that are stuck in a sorting office that we can't do anything about, waiting to be delivered. And for the last couple of weeks, they haven't been taken any parcels, so we've been using Every. It's taken a while to get organised with it. Rita, I think yours is the first one to go out with Every, and on my tracker it says due at the latest the 4th of February, so let me know if it arrives and everything's okay, because it's the first time we've used those. Create and Craft is a shopping channel, Angela, in the UK. I'm not sure where you are, but if you search createandcraft.com, it'll take you straight to their website, and you can watch it live on the channel. If you're in the UK, it's on Freeview and I don't know, Virgin and Sky. I think that's it. But if you're outside the UK, then best to just watch on the website. So just go to createandcraft.com and you'll be able to take a look there. Cushion backs on the website do have zips in that, so that's a good idea. Thank you. I never even thought about those. So let's have a look at these. So perfect fabrics for English paper piecing are plains or prints with a small print. So I'm just trying to get my fabrics here. So I've chosen this one because I've got some bits left over, which is the butterfly fabric from Lynette Anderson. Have I got it right this time? And then a medium colour in the lilac, and then I'm going to go for a navy for my dark colour as well. And I'm just going to pop my iron on because they look a little bit creased up, and you know how much I don't like working with creased fabric. So the cushions, there are cushions a bit like these on Nun's High Shelf that made using for the it's called Christmas Capers cushion cover set. Okay. Oh Diane, my order from the January the 11th never arrived. I can double check if I get time whether yours is one of the ones that's sitting in a sorting office or whether we've managed to post it out. How do you get the frill? Do you top stitch after? Oh, on these, yes. That's the flange around the edge. That is top stitched after, but they do have. I'll show you. Limbo. A covered zip in the back. So that's what the back looks like, and the zip's just on the inside in there like that. So that's all one piece of fabric, and then it's just sewn around the edge. These are 4 pieces of fabric joined to the side, and then I've stitched in the seam just to create the flange before you put the cushion pad in, obviously, and all of the cushions are covered over like that. The Alice or the Wonderland cushions have invisible zips at the bottom, so they're all different techniques, but we will be putting the instructions for those on the website next week as well if you just wanted the instructions. Every has a great website that keeps you dated where the package is. At the moment it's just saying in transit, so I'm hoping they're going to get there. They're lovely cushions, aren't they, Linda? Freeview 85 is Create and Craft. Thank you, Olivan. Hello, Susan. Looking at the Wonderland and the cushions. My iron's not working. Maybe if I turned it on, that usually helps. Put some water in it. Wish to challenge myself. I tell you what I have done as well. I filmed today, so it won't be on the website maybe till Friday. Whoa. I've made a video on each of the different Did you see? I've never noticed that before, and it's kind of obvious really. If you've got one of these prim irons where you put the water in, there's a little hole in the top, and I've overfilled it a little bit, and when you squeeze it the water squirts out, and I'm now wearing the water from my iron. Never had that happen before. It looks like I've spilt my dinner. So the zips in the Wonderland cushions, I had to say I can't show you because they're being photographed, are invisible zips, but one of them goes the whole length of the cushion and one of them has a seam each end of the zip. So I've made a video on the two different options of how to fit those invisible zips, and with the cushions behind me, they've both got the same covered zips, but one of those goes straight across in the smaller cushion and the other one doesn't. It stops before it gets to the flange. So I've done a video for those two, and I've made a video on the piping around the cushion and how to overlap it so it makes it nice and neat as you sew around it. So I'll try and get those on either tomorrow or Friday. Okay, that'll be on my website, debbieshoresewing.com. I just knew I'd get lots of questions saying, oh, I didn't understand how to do that, particularly with the invisible zips, or there's a lot of people that are a little bit wary of invisible zips, so I just thought I'd do that. That's a good idea, Alan, using magnetic clasp for the cushion cover back, so it's just nice to hide them, I think, so it's a bit of a different technique there. Yes, it's just cotton, Denise, just cotton, nothing special. Loads of times I always overfill it. I've never done it before, Megan. That was a surprise. A little fountain out of my iron. Hi Nancy, it's cold in Colorado. Below zero. We're starting to get a little bit warmer now. Right, so let's cut a few of these out together. Somebody mentioned fussy cutting with English paper piecing, and that's a nice idea as well. So fussy cutting, if you're not aware, would be if I want to cut out one of these butterflies, I'll place it right over the centre. It's literally cutting out a shape. So these are already pre-cut. Again, we don't have them on the website, unfortunately, at the moment, but they're easy enough to get hold of. And I'll need to cut my diamond shapes. Let's do it with a cutting mat. Save a bit of fabric there. Looking for my ruler and my rotary cutter. Right. So I need to cut the shapes at least 1/4 inch bigger, or thereabouts, you know. It doesn't have to be exact. Hang on, let's do that a little bit more economically. That will do. So I'm cutting through, all 3 layers. I'm trying to be economical here. It's not really quite working. I'm not too worried about how much excess I've got with these diamonds, as in how much seam allowance is around it. Ideally 1/4 inch, but you know, you're not going to see the back. So I'm not too fussed. I know I've told you before when I first started patchworking, I like to have lessons and, you know, learn how to do it professionally and everything. And we had to cut out all these pieces of paper by hand from brown paper, and then cut out the fabrics to go around it, and then hand stitch the fabrics around the papers. And I said to the tutor, can't we just glue those? And she was horrified. I thought I was going to get thrown out of class, because you don't glue fabrics, but nowadays fabric glues are designed to be used with fabric. So there, tutor. Whoops. I'll just cut another one here. You get the idea. So I'm just cutting them a little bit bigger. Oh, I think that'll be enough. All right, here you go down there. Save all your bits. You can still use those for something else. Then we need to wrap these around each piece of paper. So I'm going to glue them because it's easier. And if you do want to sew, there's a few ways you can do that. So this goes in the center of your fabric, and then you need to fold the edges over. You can either stitch straight through the card, or you can very carefully just stitch over the overlaps on the corners. That's so time consuming, but if you wanted to do that, that's fine. I prefer to put a blob of glue in the center of my paper, place that in the middle here, and then if you glue onto the fabric, not onto the card, it takes more glue. And then try for each piece to fold them in the same direction all the way around. So I'm going to go that one first. I like to put a dot of glue on the corner and then fold that over, and then a dot of glue on that fold it over, and a dot of glue and fold it over. You don't chop these off. So let's just do 3 like this to start with, and we'll see how we go. Do you know what? I'm going to do that the other way. Dot of glue there and fold it over, just so that those points are facing in the opposite direction. I think may be beneficial there. So I've got that. It doesn't really matter, but if it's facing in opposite directions, you're going to get a little less bulk in the corners. So let's that one, then that one, that one. Again, I've got rather generous with the seam allowance on these, but that's okay. So they should all start looking kind of the same. The same here. Paper for this, if you're going to cut out your own shapes of paper, I'd recommend around about 160 GSM. And oh, Lois says that glue would make life so much easier. How did I not know about that? It needs to be thin enough so that you can actually tear it out, because your papers don't stay in your quilt or whatever it is you're making afterwards. You're going to take those out. Originally with English paper piecing, you would have left them in, and they would have been cut out of newspapers, and that would have made your quilt nice and warm. They don't stay stuck down using glue too much. They will start to lift up after a while, because it's only a temporary glue, but I mean you're talking days. It's not going to lift up within hours or anything. And I would do a lot of these all in one go. I wouldn't just do one block and then sew them and then glue. I'd have a whole stack of these in all of the different colours and keep them all in compartments in a little plastic box if I'm really going for it. Debbie from Matt thinking the grey for the quilt sashing is just for the front and have to buy more for the back. Yes, the fabric that you get in there is everything that you need for the front of the quilt and the binding, not for the back at all. You need to buy extra for the back, Chrissy. Hot. So now we've got these. We need a needle and thread, and we're going to sew them together. Right. Now the idea is that come a little bit closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. How's that? To make tiny stitches close together. Right. And we're going to sew them together like that. So flip these over so that they're right sides together, and line up the edges of the paper. And I'm just going to start in the corner here and do a whip stitch. Let me move that little tab out of the way and try and catch the edges of the fold of the fabric. Now a thin needle would work best with this. This one might be a little bit thick. But we're just trying to catch the edges of the fabric. If you do catch the card, don't worry about it. Or the papers, I should say. The intention is that you can reuse these papers after you've finished, so we don't want to be making big holes in them. But if you just catch the edge of the card, it's not going to make too much difference to the shape of them. The smaller your stitches, the less visible they're going to be seen from the front, and the tighter together they are, the shorter together they are, then the stronger that seam's going to be. And this is important, and it's worth taking your time doing this, because you're not going to be able to sew them back together once you've made your project. So we really want a nice strong seam on these. Don't have your thread too long, no more than, I'd say, 12 to 18 inches, because if you imagine every stitch I'm putting across the top of this fabric, the thread is catching on the paper, so it's weakening it. Every single time you drag that across the paper, it's going to weaken it. So best thing is to just have shorter thread and just keep reloading your needle. Mine is a little bit too long, but you know, do as I say, not as I do. So again, tiny stitch. I love this. I find it so therapeutic, so relaxing, and so rewarding. I'll get to the end here before I turn it over. When you do turn this over and you barely see any stitches, it's an oh yes moment. Lois has used her Cricut machine to make shapes for hexagons 3PP. I didn't know we're out of stock, Chrissy. We can get hold of that hopefully, what day is it? Wednesday. Hopefully by the beginning of next week. I'm not sure if we've got any on order or not. Need to ask my daughter. Now I'm not going to break the thread when I get to the point here, but I am going to do a little French knot, because that, if anything, is going to be the weaker point where the thread could break or come undone. So I just like to strengthen that little bit like that. And then when you open it out, you should barely see any stitches there at all. That's what's so satisfying. I'm just using Gutermann thread for this one, Janet, and I think it's a polyester. So then this one's going to go in here like so. So let's flip it over, right sides together, line up those points, and we'll sew back down this edge here. So just like before, just catching one side and out on the other. Thank you, Diane. I think it's quite important in this line of work. So I do go to the nail bar a lot more regularly than even they think I should do, but I don't like untidy nails. Right, so again, just carrying on. Whip stitch, Sarah, or over edge stitch. So literally going across the folds of the fabric at the top and over to the other side again. So it's looping over and over the edge of the fibres. It's called English paper piecing, although it originated in America. I'm not sure when. It must have been 1800. Oh, no, before then. Must have been before then. But they called it English paper piecing because at the time it was deemed that anything English was upmarket. So it was actually a marketing campaign. And the original shapes were hexagons. And I think it's still the most used English paper piecing shape now. The most popular one. I must admit I do like this one just because of the effect that it creates. Right, let's speed that up a little bit so we can get a look. So you're all right, just sitting watching me doing this. You may need a thimble if you're doing a lot of this. And again, it is time consuming, but you know, who wants to make a quilt in a rush anyway? There's no reason why you couldn't just use a couple of patches like this as well, a couple of blocks when you join them together as a plique on the front of a bag or a card or a pouch or something like that. So again, just going right up to the point of the card and then we'll stop. Now we're not going to cut those flaps at the end off, because if you do, then the fabric will fray. So let's go right up to the end of the card, and this time I am going to cut my thread. So I just want to make sure I've got a really strong knot there, and then we'll snip that off. So that's 2 pieces sewn in. Now personally, if I'm making a larger project, I'll leave as many of the papers in as I can till I get right to the edge. You could start taking out the centre ones and use them around the edge if you don't have enough papers to do that. When you do come to the end of your project and the edge of the fabric, make sure you iron them before you take the papers out, because there's going to be, you know, like if that was all I was going to use, all of the outside seams haven't got anything joined onto them, so make sure you give it a good old press. Use some best press or something as well before you take the papers out. If you're using glue and the papers don't come out easily, then pop a warm iron over the top of it, and it tends to melt the glue a little bit, so it makes the papers easier to pull out. But they should be quite easy to pull out because, again, you're not actually sewing, well, hopefully not sewing too much through the papers. If anything, just catching the edge of them. Eilish is knitting and learning. You make it look doable. Oh, this is so simple. Compared to trying to machine sew something like this as well, I'm actually stitching into a Y seam. So if you were to do that on a sewing machine, well, you can do, but it's going to be quite difficult to get an absolutely perfect point like you're going to see here. So let's just go down the edge again. I had to travel to the doctor's appointment yesterday and it was minus 30. Good grief. I don't think I've ever been anywhere that cold. Yeah, I do have a hard bit of skin on the inside of my finger on my right hand because I keep forgetting to bring a thimble out with me. But that's where I'd normally wear a thimble. I like to wear one on that finger for pushing the needle through, and then if I'm doing a lot of sewing, you can get those little rubber thimbles that you put on these fingers, your thumb and your fingers, to help pull the needle through as well, and that can sometimes help. So again, let's go right up to that. I'll do one more block after this and we'll machine sew it. Yes, Jane, some English paper pieces do have the hole in the middle, and it does make it easier. If, like mine, you don't have a hole in the middle, then you could always punch one if you've got a hole punch before you start sewing. Hello, Vicky. This, Lois, is a 60-degree diamond, and it'll make a tumbling block. So you need 3 of these to create that illusion design. One light, one medium, and then one dark. If your dark is very contrasty, I tend to find that works really well. You can buy little leather circles for fingers. Oh, I've not tried those, Chris. I'm trying to avoid leather if I can. But that sounds like a good idea, like a stick-on thing. Right, so I'm going right into the centre now. Forget to that. Oh, thank you, Rita. And there we go. And a nice secure knot, because again I don't want that to come undone. So I just like to do like a little French knot affair there. Right, so that's that. So you get the gist of that one. It does need pressing, obviously it's kind of curling up a little bit. But if you want to do this on the sewing machine, you'll see the stitches. I mean, that's quite, no, come on, that's quite impressive, isn't it? You can barely see any stitches there. And you know, I don't mind actually seeing some of those because you know it's hand sewn. You know that that's been handmade. But if we're going to do this on the sewing machine, just like before, I'm going to glue the fabrics around the shape. Oh, when you're doing your next one, make sure that you've got your diamonds in the same colour order, like that, because it's very easy to do that and it just doesn't work. They need to be the same way, so make sure you get them right like that. So let's just glue these on. And again, make sure you're using a glue which is for fabric, not like Pritt Stick, not like a paper glue, because you'll find it more difficult to sew through, and it may not. Sorry, I'm just going through YouTube. Yeah, it may not wash out. These will, although it's blue, it kind of dries clear, and they will wash out of your fabric as well. Right, so let's do this. So a little bit of glue in the centre, I like to do. Like so. And sorry, this is just a little bit tedious here. Where's Lisa when you need her? And then just around the edge. And again, if you glue onto the fabric, not onto the card, it drinks more glue. So, and which is good in this case. We're not being, we don't mind being generous. Little blob of glue on there. And then on the opposite side, we'll try and get that point to go in the opposite direction. So that on there, that on there, and that on there. And we do the same with all of them. So blob of glue on that one. We do have these in stock on the website, by the way. Yes, candlewick bedspreads, I do remember those. I think I used to run my cars along them. My cars. I used to have a garage and a train set and all kinds of things there because my dad wanted a boy. But yeah, I used to run my cars along the wick of the candlewick bedspread. Should have been sleeping, really, I suppose. My mum used to walk to school, and the schoolroom never closed back in her day. Crazy. We're still, and the one room school never closed. Really, a one room school that never closed? Nightmare. I want to find one here. Oh, we've got time, haven't we? I haven't done any of this for a long time, and I think it's one of those techniques that once you start, you just can't stop doing. However, on saying that, I did hand sew a baby quilt for my Sewing Room Secrets quilting book, and I got so bored with it. Because when you first start, you know, once you've done one little block and then you do another one, that's twice the size. It grows really quickly. And then you put another one on, that's really big. But then the more you put on, the slower it seems to grow. So I started out with this quilt, thinking, oh, I'm going to make a double bedspread out of it. And I think I got to, it's quite big. I got to around about, I don't know, 4 foot by 3 foot or something like that. And I thought, I just don't want to do anything. Girls can play with cars too. I don't want to finish it, so I ended up using the whole thing as a plique. So I kept all of the shapes of the hexagons around the edge and then hand sewed it onto a backing fabric. It looks amazing and almost double the size of it. Really pleased. So received my pink parcel yesterday. Oh, lovely. I only got the salmon magic. Oh, well done, Janet. There's only one of those. Hexiform. No, I haven't heard of Hexiform. Ellen, I shall look into it. Right, let's just go back. I thought I'd got everything. No, we'll ignore him. I've not done EPP, like the idea of using a glue stick. That's for me. I love the little hand sewing stitches. Tacking's always a bit. Use a tacking or a basting stitch. You've got to take it out afterwards, so it just seems a bit of a waste of time. So that's the bit I don't like doing. But then, Jennifer, yes. But then I do enjoy the hand stitching, so I don't mind taking my time over that one. Now then, I'm going to practice a little bit on a piece of navy scrap, if I can pick it up from where I chucked it on the floor, because I'm going to use a zigzag stitch to sew these together. So I just want to do a quick test piece to make sure the zig and the zag are small enough, and then we'll sew them by machine instead. Nylon quilted dressing gowns, Jennifer. Yes, I had one when I borrowed one off my mum when I went into hospital to have my eldest lad, who's nearly 42 now, and it was horrible. It was you had to have one, and I couldn't afford to buy one, and it's got like a big yoke around here and a bit of a frill, and it was pale blue, and like you said, it was quilted, and it was so full of static it made your hair stand on end. And my mum used to love anything like that because she didn't have to iron them, drip dry and never iron them. But oh yes, wasn't my favourite thing. And the Bry nylon sheets. Oh, I know. Yes, but we did that because we didn't have to iron them and they were cheap, didn't we? Pitch and sound out of sync. I'm all right. I'm all right from here. The dressing gowns, weren't they terrible, June? Nylon sheets slid all over the place. They did. Yeah, oh yes, and don't get too close to the fire after your bath. Absolutely, my word. That's taking me back. So I'm going to do a zigzag stitch, but make it short and narrow. So I'll have a quick play with this. think that'll do. Go down, snip off. So just a really tiny, narrow zigzag stitch. This one is 0.6. I'm going to go down to 0.5 long and 2.2 wide. But have a practice first because we want this to be barely visible. So then we're going to take, again, let's just make sure I've got these in the right order. So that goes there and that one goes on there. And I'm going to put them together and butt the edges up like that. And then this is why we like those little tabs at the top as well, because you can sit one on top of another and then nestle together like a jigsaw puzzle. Then we're going to feed this underneath the needle. So use the standard foot on your sewing machine or the one that's got a gap in the middle so you can see where the centre is there. And so I'm loving the new machine, Hazel, but I still haven't had time. Oh, under you go. I haven't had time to have a play with all of its features as yet. Do you know, now I've done that, I don't like it because I can see too many stitches on it. So let's make the stitch longer. See if that works. Let's have a practice. The thing, once you put it under thicker fabric, it makes the stitches shorter. So I'll try that one. So that's a little bit longer. Didn't like that. I am using a very contrast thread as well. And don't. So if you've got the same colour thread as your fabric or something that matches perfectly, that would be great. If not, use a neutral colour such as a grey or a beige or something like that. Let's see if we can do this one. So, and you go. So just carefully feed it down. That's better. Feed it straight down the centre. So the stitch is going each side of the fabric. Took that under. You go down and just push them together, but don't overlap them. So yeah, I didn't like that one. That one's better. Look, so I'm going to hide that one. That went a bit fuzzy. So those two are better, aren't they? That was a little bit wrong, but those two are better. I'm going to do one more of those. Nancy's got 2 EBP projects and started, not a clue what I want to make with them either. I know, I get like that. So that's those 2 there. But look at the difference. It looks so much nicer when it's hand sewn, doesn't it? I ignore that. But even with the right colour thread, you don't see anything here at all, but you do there. But if you do want a quick project, and if you're not fussed about seeing a zigzag, then could you use a fancy thread and make it a feature with maybe using a feather stitch on your machine? I'm not, well, let's have a go. Let's have a go. I've not done that before. So where's my glue gone? Worse than nylon dressing gowns were really itchy tartan patterned ones. I used to get them about 5 years old. I don't remember those. No CH was to keep me warm. And the rash around your neck. The things, it was abuse, wasn't it? The things that we had to do when we were younger. My sister and I had one each, yeah. Mind you, we did have flannelette in the winter on the bed, and those were so nice. Such beautiful sheets. Okay, let's do this quite quickly. So I've not used the feather stitch on this machine, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I've only got as far as a straight stitch, a zigzag and a buttonhole so far. That way. Just one more. Oh, my mother Sharon, I'm sure she had shares in Crimpoline. And I didn't mind it, to be honest, because it was actually quite modern in the 60s, but it was all this thing that she just hated ironing so much. You never had to iron Crimpoline, but it was a little bit polyester not at its best, wasn't it? Polyester's so much nicer these days. Right. I plan to upcycle it. I'm going to start with tissue box covers. With your nylon dressing gown. That'd be interesting. Feather stitch. Oh, I don't know what stitch a feather stitch is. Think of a number. Let's go for 14. I've not done this before. I don't even know how to choose stitches on it. I'd be a rubbish demonstrator, wouldn't I? How do you choose a stitch on that? 1. This may take a while because I'll be honest, I love the machine for what I bought it for. I've not actually ever chosen another stitch apart from the ones that are in front of me. Nope, don't want that one, don't want that one. Can I go 14 on that? Nope. 40, nope, nope. Does anybody know how to choose stitches on this machine without looking at a manual? No, no. 14. No, that's a blind hem stitch. It's all good fun learning, isn't it? So I could just get the manual out and have a look. Not that one. Anyway, comes another walking foot moment. Don't remind me of the walking foot moment. My big son is here to make tea now. Oh, that's nice. Ellen, have a nice tea. That's why I'm so static. Have you got any pull-out cards at the bottom of the machine? No, I can see the stitch. I just don't know how to choose it. Oh, I hope George isn't watching. Is there a mode? One, 4. That's not going to work either. Number on. Oh, that makes sense. So if I go on to. No, that doesn't make sense. 1, 2, 3, 14. No, I'm on the wrong one there. So I want. So it's just talk amongst yourselves for just a second. I am going to master this. So 1, 2, 3, and that, and then 14. No, that's a blind hem stitch. I'm just going to do a zigzag stitch until I figure that one out. I'm glad I'm not selling sewing machines because no one would buy one off me, would they? No, that doesn't. Anyway, I'll do a zigzag stitch because that's where we were. Now we can't get back to where it was. Yes, delete. So when you ask how I'm getting on with my machine, I'm getting on really well because I've hardly done anything with it, to be honest. Some of the directions where you push a button, then the arrow to pick the stitch. I shall figure this out and get back to you. I might not do that. I don't know how to choose 14 though, Susan. How do you get to 14? Because if you put in 1 and then 4, it just chooses either 1 or 4. And it does look like there are different modes on there, but I can't see initially how to choose them. And then I get a bit bored with it. So I'm just going to sew these 3 together just so you can see the effect that the tumbling block had. So I've got the stitch, Alan. It's just how to choose it. Somebody will come up with something. Right, so foot down. So I'm just going to join these together with a zigzag as I did before, just so that we can see the effect of the tumbling block. So there's 4 different pages, then please the stitch number. How do you find the pages? Anyway, I'll do it another time. I could read the manual. Right, so I'm zigzagging for now. It doesn't help that the machine's down here, to be honest, because I just use it for working, where I haven't actually sat down and got my head around the all of the different stitches and things. So So then I've got the 3, and those will join together like that, and you can start to see that 3D effect coming. Those will kind of all slip together in the center when you've got the little tabs in the right direction. If they're not, fold them out of the way if you can, rather than trimming them back, because again we don't want to cut those close to the seams. It's a lot easier to hand sew that, to be honest. So that'll slip inside there, then that one goes in there, and then you've got your block. So that's the way that works. When it comes to taking the papers out, again, press that first, and then you can simply peel this back. It is quite well and truly stuck when it's still fresh, this glue, but it will come undone. And put like that there. And then try and carefully take out the papers without tearing it. And then you can use that again for another time. I have caught the very edge, but it hasn't affected the shape of it at all, so that's still usable. And then that would be pressed before you take that out anyway. So then you can sew that into your project, or if you need to cut it down into a square or something, that's where you can trim that down there. I did that when I got my machine, so now I keep it in. Yes. I'm very much like that, Susan, which may not be the right thing to do, but yes, I tend to play with the machine and figure things out rather than sit and read the manual. But I really must sit and read the manual on that one. Go to 1, 2, 3, then choose. All right, here we go. So go to 1, 2, 3. I'm on 1, 2, 3, and then choose blanket stitch symbol. Oh, yes, blanket stitch symbol, and then put in 14. Thank you. See, who needs to read a manual when I've got you lot? And just to show you, this is what I was going to go for. I don't know if I'd use this for English paper piecing with very small pieces, to be honest. There you go, on a bit of a curve, but that's what I was aiming for. Unless you can make that narrower and shorter, maybe not, but on larger pieces that would be a really nice idea with the decorative thread as well. Thank you very much, Martin. We got there eventually. So keep playing with it. I haven't read that one. Okay, so I don't know what we're making on Saturday yet. I saw cellular blankets with the satin. I would remember those as well. Yep, so Saturday we'll make something, not sure what. I've been asked for a few things, but I can't remember. I shall be writing things down. And then Saturday night, remember, at 7 o'clock is going to be the panels on Create and Craft. I'll show you the bags on Saturday. We've got a couple of bag kits coming up as well, which are really rather lovely because they're brocade, so they're a bit posh, with a butterfly shaped clasp. Alana, if you're watching, you asked for a video on fitting a twist lock clasp. I've made the video. We will get it onto the website before Saturday, and this one's a butterfly shape with a lock in the centre, but it's the same kind of way that you fit them for any of those kind of things. I've got the right stitch plate, Rose. We got there in the end. So I shall show you those on Saturday. Then if you can't make it Saturday night, Sunday morning, Create and Craft. Otherwise, next Wednesday I shall be back here again, and we'll do some different shapes of English paper piecing. Maybe not next week, a bit too soon, but maybe clamshells and apple cores and things like that would be fine. I didn't know whether to put the pre-order for Sewn Gnomes on the website yet, Jane, because it's not out until the end of August. It seems an awful long time to wait. But if you want it, we can certainly put it on there. A square box with quartered dividers inside. That's what I'm thinking about. I'll have a look at that. Got a book, haven't I? I've got a book to write things down in. Square box. Best handwriting. Dividers. Inside. A demo on sewing fleece. That seems to be something that I remember saying that I was going to do, but I never did. Jane would order it now. Really? I'll have a word with my daughter. Right, okay then, so I shall see you again on Saturday. Thanks for joining me today. Just do the housework bit over here. And have a go at English paper piecing. I think you could quite get hooked. I think it's a nice little project. I don't know what I've done with that cushion. For sitting in front of the TV in an evening if you like to keep your hands busy, because it's a nice quiet time. Invisible zips, Linda, I have done the videos for the Alice panel that is on pre-order on the website. The projects that I've made from this do have invisible zips in and 2 different ways of doing them. So I have made the video and they'll be on the website under blog. I think it'll go under the blog in the next couple of days. I just need editing and putting on there. Deirdre made a lovely English paper piecing cushion, lovely. Yvonne's looking to make a cushion cover with a central panel sewn in, cross-stitching dog designs and want to put the panel in a bigger cushion. That's a nice idea. Thank you, Denise. A session explaining different types of jersey. Different types of jersey. I have to buy them, that's the only thing, because we don't stock everything. Ponted Aroma is a double knit, so it's a little bit heavier. Different jerseys. Let's see, I've got a book. Caster in kite shapes EPP, that's a nice idea. Y seams. We could have a look at that on Wednesday, maybe next Wednesday. Thank you, Maria. Right, so better go off anyway. Got stuff to do, videos to edit, projects to plan for Saturday. So thank you for joining me. I hope you find it useful, and you take care of yourself. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Oh, and I'm still here. Will do, Chrissy. I'll ask him to have a look now.